It was the kind of decision no parent should ever have to make. Which child do you save when you can only save one? In this heartbreaking story, we follow the journey of Anthony Levine, a father faced with an unthinkable choice: donate his kidney to his daughter or his son. As we unravel the events that led up to this moment, you'll witness the depth of a parent's love, the cruel hand of genetics, and the devastating consequences of a decision no one should be forced to make. It began quietly: a persistent fatigue, swelling, headaches. In 2004, Jade Levine, just 10 years old, was diagnosed with a rare hereditary kidney disease that no one in the family had ever even heard of. The condition, hidden like a ticking time bomb, had been passed down silently from Anthony and his wife Victoria, both unaware they were carriers. At first, Jade's symptoms were manageable, but over the next few years, her condition worsened. Dialysis, hospital stays, the loss of her childhood to tubes and waiting rooms. Then came the second blow. A year after Jade's diagnosis, her younger brother Keegan, only 6 at the time, began showing signs. Not just fatigue collapse, blood pressure spikes. His kidneys were failing, too, and in his case, the disease had hit harder and faster. The family's world collapsed again. For Anthony, 47, a hotel manager known for his calm under pressure, there was no training for this. No manual for what to do when both of your children are dying and you have only one kidney to give. Doctors laid it out. Anthony was a match. He could donate, but only once. It felt like a cruel joke. A parent's instinct is to protect both children at all costs. But now he had to choose: Jade, whose decline had started earlier, or Keegan, whose condition was deteriorating rapidly. Victoria was frozen. Jesse, their eldest, watched helplessly as the siblings' lives turned into a countdown. The family tried everything: public donor appeals, online campaigns, even hoping for miracles. But time was running out, and Anthony had to decide. Anthony didn't make the decision quickly. He sought second opinions. He asked ethicists. He even consulted a therapist. But there was no answer that didn't end in guilt. He began retracing the timeline. Jade had waited longer. She was older. She was suffering. He feared she might not survive another 6 months on dialysis. Keegan, though more critical, had the benefit of time and advancements in pediatric transplants. But this wasn't logic. This was his children, his blood. He stopped sleeping, stopped eating. Victoria, trying to be supportive, told him she would accept whatever he chose. But she didn't hide the cracks in her voice when she talked about Keegan's future. What would you do? How do you choose between your daughter and your son? Some family members quietly disagreed with Anthony's ultimate decision. Others supported him. Keegan, too young to understand the full scope, asked his father, "Will I get better like Jade?" Jade never asked for the kidney, but Anthony knew what she wasn't saying. This wasn't a clear-cut tragedy, it was a moral maze, one filled with unanswered questions. Was there truly no alternative? Would a donor come in time for Keegan? Had Anthony made the right choice, or the least wrong one? The transplant went ahead. Anthony gave his kidney to Jade. She came out of surgery stable. She was weak, but improving, smiling again, the color returning to her face after years of pale fragility. But in the next hospital room, Keegan lay on dialysis, a machine doing what his body no longer could. Waiting, hoping. The family held their breath. Would a donor come in time? The most devastating moment came 2 weeks after the surgery. Anthony visited Keegan. The boy hooked up the machines, looked up at his father and said, "I'm glad you saved Jade. She needed it more." Anthony broke down in that hospital room, not just from grief, but from awe. In that moment, Keegan wasn't just a child, he was something more: brave, selfless, forgiving. It was the moment that would haunt and heal Anthony for the rest of his life. Today, Jade is recovering, gaining strength. Keegan remains on the transplant list, one of thousands of children in line for a second chance. The family continues their search for a donor and for peace with a decision that no one should ever have to make. Anthony still wrestles with guilt, but he also knows this: he made a choice out of love, a choice no father should be forced to make, but one he did with a heart full of hope for both of his children. If this story hit you as hard as it hit us, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into real-life dilemmas that test the human spirit. Now we want to hear from you. What would you have done in Anthony's place? Could you make that choice? Should any parent ever have to? Let us know in the comments below. We'll be reading every one.